Beneath 1 million square kilometers of unbroken jungle canopy, LiDAR instruments detected something the archaeological record has no entry for: an entire civilization, not a ruin, not a single site, a network of settlements spanning thousands of kilometers, and there is no record of it ever existing. The Amazon rainforest contains roughly one species for every 2,000 humans alive today. A single hectare smaller than a New York City block can hold more species than exist in all of North America. And somewhere inside this density of life, hidden beneath a green so absolute it appears to render distance meaningless, an unknown number of people-built cities, engineered waterways, organized space at scales we are only now learning to see. The LiDAR scans first arrived in 2015. Not all at once, piece by piece, scientists surveying the western Amazon, the region that sprawls across Peru, Ecuador, and Brazil, began processing data from airborne laser instruments. These instruments fire 200,000 pulses per second through the canopy. Most bounce off leaves and return nothing, but some penetrate, they touch the ground. They reveal what lies beneath 500 years of undisturbed growth. What they found does not fit into any box the historical record made room for. The settlements were not small. The central complexes covered areas equivalent to the size of Manhattan, not in total footprint, in construction density. Concentric earthworks, raised fields organized with geometric precision, stone arrangements that suggest permanent architecture, evidence of sustained population in regions where the historical narrative insisted no substantial populations could have existed. To understand the vertigo of this discovery, you need to hold two facts simultaneously. First, the Amazon basin contains roughly 390 billion individual trees. The canopy is so thick that until LiDAR, entire mountain ranges went unmapped because radar could not penetrate it. We have better maps of the surface of Mars than we have of the Amazon basin. Second, during the time these civilizations were supposedly flourishing, somewhere between 800 and 1500 CE, European chroniclers were documenting the conquest with obsessive detail. They wrote about every settlement they found, every conquest, every conversion, and they found nothing in the western Amazon. Nothing at all. The absence is the story. When European explorers moved up the Amazon beginning in the 16th century, they documented encounters with large settlements, tens of thousands of people, cities with organized government structures, trade routes, sophisticated agriculture. Then those cities vanished from the historical record. Disease swept through, possibly brought by earlier explorers, possibly endemic. The population collapsed so thoroughly that by the time serious colonial settlement began, the jungle had already begun reclaiming the space. What remained were ruins the Europeans did not recognize as ruins because they were looking for stone and grandeur. What they found instead was earthwork, subtlety, architecture written so lightly on the landscape that 5 centuries of uninterrupted growth made it invisible. But invisible is not the same as gone. The LiDAR data began revealing sites at a pace that outstripped explanation. In 2019, researchers working in the state of Acre in Brazil identified over 500 individual settlements in a single region, not scattered, networked, connected by causeways and road systems. In 2023, an analysis of satellite and aerial data suggested the total might be in the tens of thousands. The scale kept expanding. Each discovery pushed the boundaries further. Each analysis suggested a population in the hundreds of thousands, possibly millions. A civilization rivaling medieval Europe in complexity and scale, written entirely onto a landscape in materials the jungle was always going to erase. There is something specific in that fact that creates pressure in the chest. The universities now studying these sites are moving carefully. The language in the papers is restrained, suggests, may indicate, consistent with, because what the data is actually saying, what it has already begun to say if you listen without filtering, is that the archaeological record is not a mirror of human history. It is a selection bias written by geography and material. Stone preserves, metal preserves. The things that survive are not the things that mattered most. They are the things that could not be erased. Earth can be erased. Soil returns to jungle in centuries. Wood burns or rots. The people who built in materials that would eventually be claimed back by the forest, they disappeared from history not because they were less sophisticated than we thought. They disappeared because we never looked in a way that could see them, until now, until instruments that can pierce the canopy arrived, until the absence itself became visible as the most profound evidence of presence. What exists beneath the Amazon today is not just a lost civilization, it is a lost record of human possibility. A demonstration that large-scale, organized societies built their permanence in ephemerality, that they understood something the historical narrative never captured, that the point was not to leave a mark that would last forever. The point was to live, to build, to organize and flourish in a place so alive, so dense with competing life that permanence was never the goal. Presence was, and presence in the jungle is something the forest remembers only while it is happening. The question that now presses against the edges of everything we thought we knew is not what else is hidden, The question is, how many entire civilizations have we erased simply because we built our maps for a different kind of permanence? How many stories are beneath us right now, not waiting to be found but already dissolved back into soil? The Amazon contains perhaps 400 billion tons of carbon. It is a living archive, and somewhere inside that archive are entire nations, entire ways of being, entire proofs that humanity can organize itself at scale in ways that leave no record, ways that let the world stay wild while the world stays inhabited. We are learning to see them now, 50 years too late, 500 years too late, only now when instruments can see through the green, and the jungle, patient and indifferent, offers no judgment about what took us so long.